Hey everyone, Mr. DVB here. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Moon Knight, which is the newest Disney Plus Marvel series. I'm going to start off with a little bit of backstory on my thoughts on the other MC shows before I talk about Moon Knight, because I only ever reviewed WandaVision on this channel. The rest I just kind of skipped talking about, and I figure I should give my very brief thoughts on those, just so you kind of know where I was coming from heading into Moon Knight with my expectations and whatnot. So, WandaVision, I did review on this channel last year. I liked the show. I liked the kind of unique, every episode being a different decade of television idea. I just didn't like the final episode. I found the show didn't stick the landing, and it kind of just brought down my thoughts overall. But still, good show in my opinion. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I was more mixed on from the start. Just didn't really care about the whole Flag Smashers characters. I thought they were pretty weak villains. And then, again, the ending didn't stick the landing, so overall, didn't really care for that show. Loki, I really liked, actually. I thought it was pretty interesting from start to finish, and I thought it really stuck the landing. I think the final episode was probably the best of the series, and overall, great show in my opinion. Skipped What If entirely, just honestly had no interest in watching it, and from what I have heard, it's not really worth watching anyways. And then finally, we come to Hawkeye, which I watched the first 3 episodes, and then I kind of just stopped. I know what happens in the final ones. I've kind of skimmed through them and just watched videos and stuff online, but just the show wasn't doing it for me. Didn't like the tone. Something about it just felt off to me. Just wasn't enjoying it. So as a whole, I would say my opinion on the shows so far have been kind of mixed. There's been some that I've liked, WandaVision I thought was solid enough besides the ending. I really liked Loki. The other ones I either just didn't finish or just didn't have an interest in. Anyways, then we come to Moon Knight. So that was kind of going into Moon Knight. Based on my thoughts on those other shows, I wasn't really excited for the show. I thought it was going to be cool to see Oscar Isaac in the MCU. He's an actor I very much so like. But that was pretty much it. I was not excited whatsoever. It wasn't like I was, tomorrow's Moon Knight. I just didn't really care. But I still decided to check out the first episode, and to my surprise, I found myself quite invested. I thought the concept of it was unique. Moon Knight's a character who, prior to this, I really didn't know much about. I knew what he looked like in that, but besides that, I didn't know about his abilities or, the whole split personality aspect of his character, and that was what really grabbed me in the first episode. The show had this very mysterious vibe to it, and it felt definitely different from the MCU because it was just being told in such a different way, and I thought, the way it was put together from an editing standpoint was interesting, where he would switch to another personality and we would just miss 5 minutes of what happened and there would be a bunch of dead bodies, all that stuff. I was like, this is really interesting. I am invested in this. So from the beginning, it just really grabbed my attention. It wasn't like an origin story where they're explaining how he became Moon Knight in the first place. He already was Moon Knight, and the audience is kind of learning that as the character is, because like I said, he has a split personality. Split personality doesn't know about what's going on. So it was a really cool way to tell the show. I waited before watching episode 2. I waited a couple weeks until I think the first 4 episodes were out, and then I just watched those ones together. And again, really invested in the show. I was just really liking it. I thought that Oscar Isaac was giving a great performance, especially in the episodes where the 2 split personalities have to share screen time. They're with each other on the screen, talking to each other. It feels like 2 entirely different characters, even though they're both played by Oscar Isaac. They both look identical. It feels like 2 different people, just from the way he talks, because obviously they have different accents, but to the way they walk, the way they act, just little tiny things like that. He really did a great job with the performance. Really surprised and happy with how he played the character. And then, the other supporting characters, Layla, really liked her as a character. From what I understand, I think she's an original character. She's not from the comics, so if that's true, really good character there. Ethan Hawke is the villain. His name I honestly don't remember, but I thought he was really good in the show. He was intimidating and interesting as a character, so I really liked him. So all these elements just working so well. And then we come to the finale, and the show unfortunately suffers from the issues I've had with the majority of the other MCU shows, which is that the finale just doesn't stick the landing. I didn't think it was a god-awful episode or anything. What was happening is, as far as the story goes, I was still fine with. It was just that it was so rushed. It was a 35-minute episode without credits, and you are wrapping up so many storylines. I mean, you look at WandaVision, that episode just didn't work in my opinion, but it wasn't trying to wrap up a crap ton of things. I felt like they had enough to wrap up, and they had a good enough screen time to do it. Whereas, with this, they just had way too much to wrap up, and this also happens to be the shortest finale of any MCU show, which is obviously an issue. This could have easily been 3 episodes instead of just 1 final episode. I do not think this story was given enough time to fully breathe, because as the show was going along, Moon Knight actually had kind of a slower pace compared to the other shows. It was definitely more character focused, and it wasn't really about the superhero stuff as much. He's not really Moon Knight in the series that often. So whenever he becomes Moon Knight, it definitely feels special and whatnot. And yeah, it just felt like the final episode was just so rushed going through all of its plot points. Like, they had to bring Mark back from the dead because he was killed off, so they had to bring him back. He had to go and get Steven back. They had to, go back to the real world. They had to free Khonshu and become Moon Knight again. They had to stop Ethan Hawke's character and stop that one god that looks like an alligator. Like, they had to do all of these things, or crocodile, whatever it is. They had to do all these things in 30 minutes. Just does not work, in my opinion. But as a whole, I still really liked the show. I still thought it was very well made. I still thought the performances were great. The ending just really didn't stick the landing for me. So that's definitely my biggest issue. As a whole, though, I would still say this is probably my favorite MCU show. I'll have to rewatch Loki because I watched it on a car ride when I was moving, so it wasn't necessarily the best watching experience. So I'd probably like to give it a rewatch some point. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely either my favorite or second favorite MCU show for sure. I liked it more than WandaVision. I liked it more than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I liked it more than Hawkeye. So really good show in my opinion, just didn't really care for the final episode. There is an after credit scene which is actually quite good. The after credit scene in the final episode is good. It finally gives us Jake Lockley. He kills off Ethan Hawke. That was a really good part. I liked that a lot. The actual ending though for the final episode I thought was kind of abrupt and odd. Like, they finally get freed, I guess. They're in their bed. They fall over and then it just ends. And I was like, that's how you're going to end the show? I was like, okay. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a season 2. I don't think this is going to be the last we see of Moon Knight. It definitely won't be, but I don't think it's going to be the last we see of him in his own TV show. But anyways, kind of rambling at this point. You get my point. Overall, positive show. Oscar Isaac gives a phenomenal performance. The other actors all do a really good job as well. I liked the really unique storytelling in the first 5 episodes. I liked the 5th episode in particular, just like the emotional pull that it had, giving us the backstory for him and why he has a split personality. Thought that was great. Episode 4, I loved the setting, which like in that pyramid tomb or whatever. It had very good set design, and it definitely gave me like Tomb Raider vibes. It was really good. Overall, positive show. Some people were talking about before the show came out how it was like, going to be more violent for the MCU. I didn't entirely feel that way. There's definitely like more blood than we've seen before in certain moments, but it doesn't feel like they were like pushing the boundaries of the rating or anything like some people are saying. But yeah, overall, very good show. I recommend checking it out, and I look forward to seeing more of Moon Knight in the future. So here you go, guys. That is my review for Moon Knight, my first video in like a month. I've been very much so slacking with YouTube recently. I made my Morbius review. I did a video talking about my new computer, but I ended up just taking it down. And yeah, I haven't really done much since then. I really want to make short films. I just don't have many people to make them with. I have like a very limited amount of people I can work with, and scheduling is going to be a huge issue, I find. So hopefully I'll be able to make something soon, just nothing like I would have wanted to, which kind of sucks. And what else? I'll maybe bring back movie battles. I've been saying this for like years. I think I'll probably try to bring them back sometime soon, just so that I can still make content, because it does kind of suck not having a video out for a month and all I upload is just these reviews. So I'm going to try to bring back movie reviews sometime soon, I think. Or something like that. That's just, a bit more interesting. Anyways, guys, that is my review. I'll see you guys on Friday. I'll be talking about Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So see you guys then. Bye.